Kids receiving therapy from the Genesis Outpatient Pediatric Therapy Center, they got a head start and already ran their own version of the iconic Junior Bix. Here with the details on this incredibly special opportunity is Jordan Gillen, the manager of outpatient therapy. Jordan, welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, this is such a fun thing to talk about year after year. It's really special. First, though, before we get to the event itself, which took place last week, let's talk a little bit more about and give us some background on the Genesis Outpatient Pediatric Therapy Center, everything that you guys do.
They do everything there. It's in Bettendorf. There's about 40 therapists that work there, treating kids from, we treat newborn babies in the NICU at East Campus all the way up to 17, 18-year-olds, a lot of times off the entire spectrum of life there. And so a lot of times they have various physical or mental challenges that prevent them from participating in the traditional Junior Bix downtown because it's chaotic and wild. And so for the last few years we've been able to organically create our own Junior Bix to allow all levels of ability to participate, and this is the second year that we've officially partnered with the Bix on that. And it just keeps growing. So it was a great event again this year. The weather was much cooler than last year and we had an awesome turnout, so it's a good thing.
And you know, talk about the different mobility issues that would prevent kids from being able to come down and participate in the Junior Bix, because I think unless you're someone like a parent or someone who is touched by one of these issues, you kind of take it for granted. I think that all kids and the inclusivity is always there, but it's not so easy, especially I think if you have a child that suffers from some sensory issues. I mean, like you said, it's chaotic.
Right, sensory is probably the biggest one, just it's so loud and it's so crowded and there's so much going on downtown during the whole Bix weekend. But there are every kind of walker, every kind of wheelchair that they make out there. We see and was participating in the event at the pediatric clinic. But sensory is probably the biggest issue, and then the parents who are trying to juggle their child participating in 3 other siblings here and everybody's everywhere, and it can be pretty wild. So having a smaller event at a more isolated location works a lot better for the families that we serve. Yeah,
and I was reading something too, specifically because not all kids have sensory issues, but the ones that do, instead of cheering them on loudly and by yelling, you guys use bubbles to do that.
Sure, they have, and the therapists are all essentially volunteers. They're present, so they each know their caseload and their patients, and so they have their, each one knows what their unique motivations are, and the therapist will run and participate in the event. And that makes the patients and their families more comfortable too, so it really works well, and it's an individually tailored event to those kids and to the patients that we serve. It really makes it work.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Talk about the pride among the kids that complete the race and the pride among their parents. It has to be a special moment to see your little one. I don't care what race it is, who you are. The first time that my daughter crawled across the finish line for the Junior Bix, I mean, I had tears in my eyes. So it must be a really special moment.
Oh yeah, and we had 75 participants this year of all abilities and their families, and I was there, and it was hard to get out of the way. So many people were taking pictures and videos, and media was there, and every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But just to see those families getting that, that gratification of seeing their child be able to participate and get the medal at the end, get the Bix T-shirt, get the Whitey's popsicle, do that whole thing is really special.
Yeah, yes, of course. I mean, you want them to be able to do everything that every other kid is able to do. So looking ahead to Bix Saturday, we know it's going to be warmer than it is now. We know it's going to be humid. It's probably not going to be the most, hot and humid Bix that we've ever had. But any advice with your background for runners that are participating this weekend, or even runners that are participating tomorrow night?
On top of the standard stuff, wear light colored clothing, loose clothing, stay hydrated. My wife, who's a runner, tells me that it's important now to start getting your electrolyte levels up 2 or 3 days in advance. And then replenishing those electrolytes. You want 4 to 6 ounces of fluid every 20 minutes while you're participating, because it's very important to replenish them as you're losing them, just as important it is to kind of hydrate before you go. And then listening to your body. I think a lot of times you get hung up on maintaining a pace that maybe you were able to maintain as you were training in more ideal conditions, and kind of slowing down, listening to your body, or if you have the smartwatch, you know, just watching your heart rate, and that might slow you down a little bit, but it's going to be the safer way to go.
Yeah, some good advice there, I think. And of course, anybody that needs to, you know, thinks that they need to look into Genesis outpatient pediatric therapy, that is something that they can easily do as well. I remember when my daughter was a baby, there was like, you know, it was as simple as like she wasn't turning her head one way, and somebody noticed that. And so we were able to see the really great therapists at Genesis Outpatient Pediatric Therapy. They got it figured out. It's never been an issue before. So I just kind of want to reiterate, like, even if you don't think that there's anything going on, it doesn't hurt to get a consult. It doesn't hurt. No issue is too small. Is kind of what I'm getting at, you know?
And most issues are much easier for them to address the earlier that they catch it.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, well, let's get the website up there for everybody. If you want to learn more about the Outpatient Pediatric Therapy Center, just visit genesishealth.com and you'll be able to find it there. That's what the webpage looks like. Jordan, thank you so much for coming on the show today, and just thank you and everybody else, all the folks, therapists that work there, for putting this event on every year, because it is extremely special for these families.
Yeah, great. It's an awesome event, and thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely.